Hi, this is Wee.
Hi, this is Kay. How are you all doing? Hopefully, you're all safe in this COVID environment. And I think we have a topic related to COVID today, which might be very useful and will provide you some tips. So, what are we talking about today, Lee?
All right, one of the biggest challenges that everybody faces working in a virtual environment where, due to the situation now with COVID 19 and with the situation overall, I believe there has been some challenges with, especially with people who are very much used to face interactions at workplaces. I've been doing virtual uh, for the last 15 years or so. I've gained some, unique niche uh, USPs, if you will, where uh, tricks of the trade, how to drive the meeting, how to motivate your people, how to lead a structured meetings and so forth. So I think, to our viewers, it's just going to be beneficial for especially people who are new, and even it's going to be beneficial to people who have been leading and see, if you guys can pick up some of the tricks through what I do. And again, there is no set formula here. As we all know that, leading meetings, participating in meetings, it's a combination of art and science. So that's a topic we will be talking today.
Okay, that's great. So, let's get started.
All right. What I usually do and what I have done, and I've been very successful, is there are three parts, three legs strategy. You may call this as people, process, and technology. The people is really a paramount of everything. Whether you're a people leader or you're an individual contributor where you have stakeholders who have expectations from you to drive results. Make sure that you're putting your people, even in the virtual environment, uh, the first. And you're creating a virtual workplace, a virtual culture online. And the most effective way is put yourself out there. And what I mean by put yourself out there, turn on your camera. People love to see you. People love to read your expressions as you drive the meetings, as you lead the meetings. So it's very important, and those are really helping. And other things are like,
Yes.
make sure that we have all, for people who have worked, virtually, from their homes. There are courier folks coming and courier bell ringing. There are crying babies, and a lot of family members. They're talking in the background. So it's always good to give them heads up that you're getting into a meeting and you're leading a meeting. When people see you that you're structured, you're more disciplined, they try to follow the same cadence as well. Yep.
You know what? From what you've just told us, I picked up a very good tip that sometimes people tend to cover up their cameras, but having a communication skills like face to face, there are different ways of communicating. So if you do have your face up in the camera, another thing I want to add is make sure you dress up professionally as well.
Sure.
It's very important because you are at a work, even if you're working from home, you are at work.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're professional communication wise and appearance wise.
Yeah. No, you bet. 100%. That's true. And you got to consider as if you're really working in your office, and all the professionalism that you showcase right on your workplace floor. You got to show the same right at your home as well. There are a few instances where I put emphasis many times of being organized and lead in a more structured way. Let me give you an example, and that's really going to help our viewers understand. In every business, in every industry, in every work stream, in every career path, there is a lot of debate about how do we set the priorities. There are different stakeholders at the workplace. and there are different priorities coming from different stakeholders. At the same time, if you are a people manager, you're delegating all these tasks to your team as well. So people want to see you that, yes, you have a mechanism, you have a structured way. So what I typically do is, it's a 5-step strategy that I follow. I just led him team meeting and it was very successful. So I just thought of reiterating what I did and why that meeting went very well. It's always good to collect all the tasks that's either you want to delegate, or if you're receiving the task, then your stakeholders are giving you all the tasks. So have a repository where all your tasks are listed. Everybody's going to say my task is important. You got to categorize what's important and what's urgent.
Okay.
Right? It's very, very important. And then how you're going to define what's urgent? Assess the value. And the value can be assessed by, whether that task is related to your business or that task is related to your vendor. Because for your customers, for your business, that's where your revenue is coming from. So you want to put your customer right in the forefront, and because that's going to be, underlining your top line revenue and really helping your bottom line revenue as well. So very important, assess the values. And also it's very important to make sure that when you have a list of tasks, make sure you have some kind of high level effort associated to those tasks as well, because when you're going to be debating about what all tasks are urgent to you, at the same time what's all tasks are important to you, you can really demonstrate that certain tasks would take 5 hours, the other tasks would take 500 hours. So you're very transparent that, and it shows that you have done your homework. You have created the value, you have created the effort hours, and so forth. Last but not least, be flexible, right? You don't want to show that you're very adamant, you're rigid. I think this goes very well even if you're working at your office, where all your colleagues are face to face. But it becomes more important when you're working virtually, to show your flexibility and to show your adaptability. Yeah.
Absolutely. And would it help if you sent those tasks ahead of time?
Yeah.
So when you're discussing, your team members would have questions or might provide feedback. As you
Right.
said, you need to have buffers.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that might be.
That's
in there,
really
right?
a great point. So what I usually do in my meeting is exactly the same. In every meeting invite, I have a clearly laid out agenda. I have clearly, if the meeting is first time that I'm kicking off an initiative, then really kind of have a document, 1 page or half a page or whatever, really describing the goals, the scope, the stakeholders involved. So when people show up on the phone call, they know why they're there.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect.
At the same time, if I'm leading a subsequent meeting, I always share the previous meeting minutes as
Okay.
well. And in the meeting minutes, what I always do is, I, based on what we aligned with a timeline of a task. So when I show up in a subsequent meeting, I usually pick up, let's say, Joe or Susie or Ram or whoever, and just ask him or her, hey, what's the status of this? So it really makes people accountable as well, and it really
So it's like having action items at the end of all the
absolutely
meetings, yeah?
absolutely
And then addressing how
Yeah.
they were addressed,
yeah.
so you can progress
Yeah,
forward.
absolutely.
Yes.
And one of the couple of things I do want to mention is, with all this virtual, we are just sitting too far. There are a lot of tools coming up, such as Microsoft whiteboarding,
Okay.
right? So I have this whiteboard open, and again, I'm not promoting Microsoft or anything else, but it really, helps. This is how kind of I drew. You can just see. And you can use your hand if you have a touch screen, or you can use your mouse to draw the screens and table, and that really makes other people engage into your conversation. this is as good as they're sitting in front of you, you're standing up on the board with a pen and really, driving the conversations. But that with the technology, and by the way, I'm not going to name anybody, you can just Google it. There are a lot of free whiteboarding tools available that you can leverage. At the same time, most companies have Teams. I use Team quite a lot, but at the same time, you must have heard about Zoom, you Google, and there's so many other applications that you can use. But again, you got to make sure that you're not skirting, bypassing your company policy. Make sure that the tool that you use is certified, authorized by your company. And really, at times, what I do, I record the meetings as well.
That's great.
And
That's a great idea.
Yeah, by recording the meeting, it makes people accountable,
Yes.
right? Again, it depends. It could be, a sensitive topic where, when you're recording the meetings, some people may not open up as much as when you're not. So again, as I said, leading a virtual meeting is a combination of art and science, and it will come to you as you understand your audience better. It will come to you as you practice more and more. But really, going back to recording topic really helps me quite a lot. I generally do not record where I have people, showing up first time. Where I have known audience, I record it more, and it really helps me. It becomes,
And I think it also depends on the type of meeting you're having.
yeah.
Because sometimes what happens is when you're talking virtually, or even if you're in a boardroom, you want to have minutes of the meeting done later,
Yeah.
So it helps you go back, and especially if it's a very important meeting, like for example, a kickoff meeting for a project for
Yeah.
a client. Those kind of, I think it's good to have, because
Yeah.
then you can put it all together
Yeah.
when you're putting the project plan together.
Absolutely. Last but not least, I always say when you're working, have fun at end of the day. So what I
Yes.
have done recently is, since we all are working virtually, I've sent a pizza on Friday from one of the, we have a chain here at everybody's
that's a
house. So
great
we
idea.
had a happy hour. So we had, beer, pizza, drinks, and it was really fun, where
Something different, right?
something
It's-
different,
You feel like you're at the office, right?
Absolutely.
So you need to have fun as well.
Yeah.
So work has to come with fun as well. Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely. Totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
So your last wise words, like what is the overall 3 main things you would highlight
Yeah.
to conduct a meeting?
Yeah, as I said before, always think about people,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure, as I said before, you're creating a culture where people come first. Process, make sure you're using a structured, organized approach.
Yes.
And the third is technology, Zoom, whiteboarding, which we talked about. We talk about recording and so forth. So I think that really will help
Sums
our
up,
viewers if they have not used those tricks leading the meetings or participating in the meetings.
But viewers can always ask us for questions or any other tips that if they're not sure of. We are here to help you, and make sure you give us good comments and thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Yeah.